Hello everyone. So welcome to my latest data analytics project I recently completed. So this is an project I completed to predict lung cancer. The main task of the project was I have to predict the 12-month survival of the patients based on some information. uh, I had been given some data. I have been actually given two data files. One is clinical.csv files, which is 16 attributes. These are the 16 attributes, and these are the sample of the files. So you can see the data file has both the numeric and categorical attributes. For example, ID is ID of the people. Outcome is after this month, survival months, patient is stable, alive, or dead, and age, grade, then some other values, other features. And as the real world data, the features has both null values, so it can be assumed that it is very messy. And there is another file which is like for each patient which gene is mutated. So this is given in another file called genomics.csv, and for each ID there is the mutated gene. So my target was simple to handle this messy data and then create a prediction model after analyzing it. So this is how actually I targeted this problem. First, actually, I cleaned the data. So when I cleaned the data, at the very first I handled the missing values. Then I converted everything into numeric attributes. So even the categorical attributes. So I encoded the attributes. Uh, then I didn't want attributes have very different domain. So I can control their variance by standardizing them. Then the dataset doesn't have any predictor attributes. So based on the my objective function, which is I have to predict 12-month survival, I created a predictor variable. Then I combined the genomics data to the main dataset for the prediction and created a single data, and I removed the unnecessary columns. Then the most interesting part is the exploratory data analysis, how I handled it. So for the exploratory analysis, actually, my first concern was, is it an imbalanced data set? So I went into it and looked into like how imbalanced the data set is. So in future, I can modify the data set. And as my all attributes are now converted into the numeric attributes, I totally concentrated on quantitative exploratory analysis. So easiest step was, I thought, like using correlation analysis. So I first applied correlation among the independent variables and removed the redundant variables. Then I use the correlation among the independent and predictor variables to remove the dominant variables. Then I use correlation among the independent and predictor variables to see like weakly correlated variables, if I can remove them. There actually I just identified this weakly correlated, and then I took these variables and I first see like if there is any nonlinear relationship using mutual information PCA to unsupervisedly, saying that if they are contributing to overall relation, and uh, used feature importance from random forest to see like how important these features are for classification. Then I removed the unnecessary feature. Then I went to the model creation. I went to the pre-processing step. I considered a stratified cross validation because I have imbalanced data, and I applied two different classifier models. One is feature-based random forest, and another is nonlinear deep neural network for nonlinear association. I thought like if there is overfitting, then nonlinear models might act better. So this is actually the summary of how it's handled. Now, if I go how I did the whole task, let's go for the data cleaning. First is the missing values. So when I explored the dataset, I found out that only three attributes has missing values. Okay. Then I went to the actually the dataset itself, and I have seen that for tumor size there is no zero. So I assume that so when tumor is not present, they are presenting it as a null. So I made everything as zero. And for other two variables, I looked into the other sources to identify why null values occur. I found out that if the doctor decided not to analyze it, null value can occur. There can be missing information, or also like these attributes might not be present at all. So based on that, I thought like if like two out of the three possibilities are presenting that null value is missing that node, so it's safe to assume like make it zero. Now then I wanted to analyze everything numerically. To do the exploratory analysis, how I did it, I encoded the variables, categorical variables, into numeric data. So I had four categorical variables. Now among these four variables, I found out that two variables doesn't have any order among the categories. So I directly applied one hot encoding among them, as they don't have any inherent order. But two attributes has some inherent order, and that has some meaningful, like tumor size one level after another means like it's a big tumor, and it is can cause a serious damage to the cancer. Same goes for stage. So now I applied ordinal encoding, and I gave like high points to the like a bigger number here. Then I applied normalizing. Now, what happened in classification, that when you have two very different models, different variables, variance, like one has like millions variance within the values and another have like 0 to 100. So the variable has like larger variance always dominate the classification process. I didn't want that. So I normalized it. Now, for the normalization process, I went to the variable variance, and I have seen that the variables are not actually varying much. You can see like some is just 0 to 1, some is highest variance is 55 to 85. So if there was a huge variance, I would have considered using incorporating statistical information like z-score and something. But as the variance is not very large, I thought like min-max normalization would have been like very good. That would be a very better for it. So I used min-max normalization. Now, third is the creation of the third is the creation of the predictor variables. Now I don't have any predictor variable which represent, you can see here, which represent which patient survived 12 months or not. What I use then, I use this two outcome and these two variables, outcome and survival months, and then combine them to see like which patient survived till 12 months. For example, this patient survived death at 19 months, so at least he survived 12 months. Same for this patient also survived 12 months. So that using that reasoning, actually, I created the predictor variables here. People who survive 12 months are more than 12 months are alive, and people who actually dead before 12 months are dead. So, and I make them, this particular variable is 1 and 0 only, like this, 1 and 0. Then actually now I have genomics data separately. This is my genomics data, which is linked to the clinical data by ID, and that represent which IDs have which mutated genes. Like AKT1 is for patient 1 and patient and 1 58. So I combined based on the ID. I just combined and created one single data file. Now when I combined it, actually I got 75 columns, and I removed some unnecessary columns like ID and others, and at the end of the day I just got almost 75 columns. I think 72 columns. Now this is like a huge number of attributes to do exploratory analysis, and I didn't have that much time, so I go on for the numerical analysis. So one strong tool when you aim for the numerical analysis, exploratory analysis, is correlation. Correlation might represent which attributes are important, which are not important. So I used correlation. So what I used, like, first is, let's think about last independent variables. If two independent variables are very strongly correlated, here I'm saying like if a strongly correlated is like their absolute value of this correlation is above 0.9. You can make it even 0.7 is also a strong correlation. Then I don't need both variable. I just need one variable because they are representing the same thing. So when I found the variables with very strong correlation, I just removed one. And then I looked into the correlation between all independent to the target variables. Now, if independent variable is very strongly correlated with target variable, it will dominate the classification process, and other feature will lose its importance. So I removed that. After that correlation, I measured that correlation. I didn't find any columns, but if that was strongly related, I would have removed that. Now there is another things about correlation is if some variable is uh, not that much related with the target variables or predicted variables, this is an indication that they do not have any strong relationship and they won't contribute much to the prediction. So I measured like which variable has very low correlation with the target variable. Here I made the threshold as 0.1, but I think it can be more than this. 0.25 can be like that. I found a bunch of variables. Now I didn't remove it, right? You see, even correlation is a linear relationship. So sometimes there is nonlinear curve-like relationship present between the data that correlation never finds. So even there is no correlation, I thought like let's go further and check if there is any nonlinear relationship or any other kind of relationship. So first thought was like if there is any nonlinear relationship, mutual information is a very good way to finding if there is a non-linear information present. So when we calculate mutual information and mutual score is two variable is greater than 0.1, we can say they have some strong non-linear relationship. I only had two variables that has good non-linear relationship among these all low non-linear relationships. So I thought like we can remove everything except these two. But again, I tried to see like if this weak attributes contribute something to the variance of the overall data. So I went to an unsupervised approach and I applied PCA. Now, what happened with the PCA is like PCA ranking is PCA always capture the variance because capture where the most information of the data is. So unsupervisedly, it can measure like how much each attribute is contributing to the information space. And if PCA score is ranking score is 0. Above 0.6, it considered is very a strong relation, and if it is below 0.6, it's a very weak relation. But I found out that some relation is close to 0.3, but no one is below 0.3. So I assume that if data variant it has all attributes have some contribution unsupervisedly to the cluster of samples. So they are not actually totally random. So again, I was confused. Should I remove this all attributes of low correlation? Then I thought like let's check if how important these features are for the classification, and most suitable for that is feature importance. So I used random forest and I evaluated feature importance of these existing features, And if importance 0.1, I thought they will be considered like very strong, and moderately weak is if 0.1 to 0.0001, and if below 0.001 they are very weak. And I had found out this feature importance. I have seen like many attributes is not contributing to the feature space at all. So I didn't remove much, but I removed like almost more than half of my features based on this. I think we could have removed more, but I was playing safe and removed half of this. Then I went to the model creation. Now I also looked into it like if my data set is imbalanced, and I found out that my data set is quite imbalanced. Like there is 50 versus 140 survival rate. So the samples are 3:1. Now, for this kind of imbalanced data set, one way is like using k-fold cross-validation. I use stratified k-fold cross-validation to ensure that all samples are equal in the folds. Then I was also considering like oversampling like Smarty and others. But what happened is like as if I thought like if the classification is better, do not go there. It will be overkill. So I just first kept the k-fold cross-validation for the safety. And then again I used a random forest classifier, and I classified it and I got like 100% accuracy. Now that was like a very I think questionable point, because 100% accuracy is sometimes always questions why there is 100% accuracy. Then actually what I thought like random forest can be overfitted, like it's feature based, it can get overfitted. So let's look for some non-linear classifiers. So I use deep neural network, and I used again k-fold cross-validation and deep neural network, and again I got the 100% accuracy. So overall I thought like yeah, so then there the feature space is something that making it 100% accurate. So that is another question we can explore later, why it is being 100% accurate, what making the people who didn't survive very unique to the people who survived. But for now, for the classification model, I think until this is good. So overall, that was my experience. Thank you for listening to this, and I'm open to the feedback. Please suggest improvement.